we'll be looking at the construction of the second phase of the standard gauge relay, whether it's complete or not, but the government officials are saying it's about 90% complete and will be launched soon. We'll be looking at that and other stories making headlines. And now we take a look at the highlights. CBK mops up 56 billion shillings to curb market liquidity. Now government bans development near Naivasha port. And livestock farmers demand KMC to clear their debts. Well, thank you for joining us, and you can also watch us live on www.K24 TV or .co.ke, and you can update us also on our social media platform at K24 TV on Twitter, Instagram, and also on Facebook. But we now take a look at the top story of the day, where the Central Bank of Kenya Monday mopped up 56.2 billion shillings from the money markets through repurchasing agreements, signaling expectations of a larger injection of shilling into the market. The regulator explained to market participants that it was looking to ensure that the financial system remained on the monetary policy path set by the Monetary Policy Committee. The CBR is currently at 9%, and this represents the maximum that the CBK is obligated to pay to banks when it seeks to mop cash they are holding. Now, the construction of the second phase of the standard gauge railway from Nairobi to Naivasha is almost complete. This follows the completion of the Ngong section, which had been delayed construction for close to a year following a dispute over compensation to affected landowners. Sarah Adam with that report.
Construction of the second phase of the standard gauge railway is almost complete, with engineers from the China Communications Construction Company and the contractor working on the project have embarked on a month-long safety testing exercise along the 120-kilometer stretch of the new railway.
Yeah, we are ready to roll out the project because, as per now, we have already tested all things are in a good condition. Yeah, the operation proper. They have not have not experienced any fault.
According to the company's technician Frederick Andera, the testing is aimed at checking the track, communication, signaling system while adjusting the defects ahead of commissioning.
The Ngong Rungai section, there was a delay, but from my position, I can say that the dispute that was there was solved, and the railway network was completed.
Andera said the process will continue to ensure the railway system meets the requisite safety standards. His sentiments were echoed by an engineer from the company, Oscar Hagabo, who said priority will be given to passenger trains in keeping with international best practices, where the particular train has the right of way whenever it meets a freight train. Sarah Adam, K24 for Inside Business.
Now, the government has banned development on private land near the special economic zone in Naivasha, where the dry port and industrial park is expected to be constructed. The ban came after the government processed a title deed for the 1,000 acres set aside for the dry port following reports that some people were illegally selling the land. Masi Milanoi tells us more.
The move will see any development on private land halted until a comprehensive plan is issued by the Nakuru County and national governments. Already members of the pastoralist communities who occupied the land have been moved after the management of Kedong Ranch offered 4,000 acres to relocate.
We have to monitor.
While issuing the ban, Naivasha Deputy County Commissioner Mbogo Mathioya said the county government will issue a proper development plan that will demarcate areas that will be set aside for industries and residential areas.
Wale wako na plot karibu upande wa Rari, upande wa Nyakenywa na hizi areas zimekaribia. Kutakuwa na kitu kinaitwa controlled development. Hautaki vijiji hapa. Hatuwezi kuna dry port hapa unakuja kushindia mabati yako hapa. Tunakuwa tunabomoa kila siku.
Mathia was speaking during a community meeting at Satellite area along Narok-Maimahiu Highway, where the port is being constructed. He called on residents in the area to support the project he termed as one that will have positive effects on their lives, especially the youth. His sentiments were echoed by Naivasha MP Jane Kihara, who urged the youth to take advantage of the recently constructed Naivasha Technical Training Institute and enroll as to get first-hand skills on courses that will enable them secure employment at the port.
Tunataka watoto wasome. Wachukue hiyo courses. Hapa kutakuwa kazi nyingi sana. Wale hawajasoma stima tuwasomeshe stima. Wale hawajafanya mechanic tuwafundishe. Wale wambao tuwafundishe.
The community has now called on the government to build schools and other amenities on the land, where tens of families have been relocated to pave way for the project. Masimilanoi, K24 Inside Business.
Now, over 2,000 employees from an export processing zone factories in Mombasa have downed their tools in protest against poor pay and insecurity. This is just news coming in. And the Simba Apparel EPZ Limited workers have vowed to continue their strike until all grievances are addressed. Company says that it has lost government export business to US worth 20 million shillings in the last 1 week. Now, our reporter, Boniface Musangi, who is from Mombasa County, will be telling us more on how this whole story has been unraveled in the better part of the morning.
Thank you very much. We are here at Simba Apparel EPZ Mombasa, whereby there is staff of this company.
We apologize for that technical hitch, but we'll try and reach out to our reporter Boniface Musangi, who has a story on the latest on the over 2,000 employees of an export processing zone who have downed their tools in protest of poor pay and insecurity. Now we cross over to other stories making the day, and PricewaterhouseCoopers has launched the 7th Africa Business Agenda report, which paints a rather bearish outlook for the global GDP as well as the African GDP. This even as the reports indicate a strong relation between global GDP and the CEO confidence on growth, with trade tensions among leading economies leaving them skeptical over global volatility. Jimmy Mbogo was at that launch and joins us with more updates.
Well, indeed, thank you very much, and a very good afternoon to you too, Sarah. Yes, we're currently at the PricewaterhouseCoopers, that is the PwC headquarters right here in Westlands, where the Africa Business Agenda report was being launched. And now from this report, we understand that about 1,300 CEOs were interviewed globally and about 171 from the Africa region, just to express some of their concerns in terms, as well as their growth trajectory for the region. And just to speak to us, we're joined by Peter Ngahu, who is a senior regional partner at PwC. Peter, thank you so much for speaking to us. Maybe one of the things that we want to understand is, what was the aim of this report?
The agenda of the Global CEO Survey is really to talk to CEOs about what are the things they see in the global economy, in the businesses that they run, and what are the issues that are top of their minds. What do they see the growth prospects for their own organizations as an indicator of what's going on globally. And then we take that and model the questionnaire to survey CEOs specifically on the African continent to do exactly the same thing, to find out what are the sentiments for businesses, what are the growth prospects, what are they seeing, and what are the challenges that they are facing.
CEOs in the region, what is their biggest concern about these trade wars between China and the US?
So we've seen the CEOs' confidence levels in terms of optimism for growth take a nosedive. When you compare to what happened when we ran the survey a year ago, there's a level of pessimism that is crept in. And clearly, you know, what's going on geopolitically is not something that businesses can afford to ignore. All
right, now, for a very long time, local CEOs have been complaining about the issue of mismatch between the skill sets that they're currently getting, especially from graduates in the country. Is this still a concern from some of the CEOs that you spoke to?
So when we surveyed the CEOs on the African continent and we asked them to rank some of their top concerns. The top 3 concerns were around policy uncertainty. That came right at the top. The second one was skills gaps, and that's related to the question you're asking. And the third one was around regulation and the prospect of over-regulation in the markets in which they operate. So clearly, you know, policy uncertainty for businesses, top of mind. Skills gaps right there at the top of mind of CEOs. When we dissect the skills gap issue, I think the issue is more around some of the emerging technologies and the skills base that employees that CEOs are working with possess, which then tells us there's an opportunity to actually upskill the population of workers across the African continent to acquire new skills and new capabilities so that they can then grapple more effectively with the issues that are emerging. So that's what we are seeing. We are seeing CEOs telling us skills gap is an issue. And that doesn't surprise us, because with the rapid advancement of technology and the emerging technologies that we are seeing around artificial intelligence, data analytics, chatbots, the Internet of Things, all those things, including robotic process automation, are things that are requiring on an ongoing basis a different skill sets of employees.
Also, the other thing that has come up, and especially with regards to government and the ease of doing business, there's also the issue of tariffs. We've seen a lot of companies, let's say, moving in the region, moving from Kenya and expanding into the other East African countries, let's say to Tanzania, Uganda, and the likes. But one of the key complaints has always been the issue of tariffs.
When it comes to policy uncertainty, and I think when we'll talk about policy uncertainty, that's right up there. Companies want to have certainty around, or some level of certainty about where policy will head. And the issue of
Well, now we have the discussion of the day, and as I had earlier on told you, we'll be discussing about the plastic business in Kenya. And in studio with me is Geoffrey Hobbs, who is the MD Indigo, and he'll be telling us more about the plant you're about to launch.
Hi, thank you.
First of all, welcome to our studios.
Thank you so much for having me.
Maybe you can start by telling us or sharing with us about this recycling plant that you're supposed to set up with.
We hashtag one movement making, which is a plastic recycling business. We're focusing on PET and HD. It's an initiative in Vipingo village, including all the players in the area, the big players like Vipingo Ridge. But our main thing is to create a clean village, a model village, which we can copy and paste to other villages and cities around.
Okay, so this is a partnership between Indigo, you're the MD there, and the Kilifi County government. Yes,
and then all the other partners in the area like Vipingo Ridge, which is the only PGA accredited golf course in Africa, Kuruitu Marine Conservancy, Vipingo Beach Limited. They are all big sponsors for the event on Saturday, which is International Coastal Cleanup Day. We are so proud to have everyone on board.
Okay, so what will be the impact of this plant, especially on the environment?
Well, we're aiming to get a model clean village. It's to create awareness. So what's happened in the village is that the children have started to clean. They come and volunteer, they clean the beach, they clean the village. And it's kind of reverse education where they are now going back and teaching their elders about it. It's mainly about awareness, taking plastic out of the system, returning it back to the recyclers, and maintaining our plastic.
Looking at our waste management policy as a country, and also maybe our initiatives towards recycling and creating of recycling plants in the country, where do you place us when you maybe compare with other countries like...
I think Africa in general is far more aware of the plastic pollution problem. Kenya in particular, we've been innovative with M-Pesa. We were one of the first to ban plastic bags. And all these initiatives, there are so many people doing so many things. What we've tried to do with hashtag 1M and Indigo as the sponsor is to bring people together so we can collaborate, we can share resources, and become a really strong group.
Okay, so what would be the role of the Kilifi residents? Your partner, I see you have like 4 partners involved. What role will the residents be playing in this initiative?
Well, we're starting off as a startup organization, very grassroots at the moment, but our goals are really big, national and global. We've already been contacted by 25 countries around the world, who are watching us, following us. We've got support from the government, which is incredible. They're endorsing the event on Saturday. It is just such a good feeling that people in the village itself and surrounding areas are supporting this very important initiative.
Okay, so you'll be collecting plastic waste maybe from homes and
the beaches,
and other areas. So will you be making products from this?
So what we're doing on site at the centre is we are then shredding the plastic to reduce the volume. It's then sold back to the manufacturers to put into product. Our big aim, we're working with Tetra Pak CSR program, and the goal at the end of the day is to get them to build factories where we can do specialized product design.
Okay. Have you found any challenges maybe when it comes to setting up this plant and also the launch? Are the residents actually receptive about this initiative?
I have never been involved in an initiative where every single person is on board. So from the kids in the village who are assisting us, to government, to big business, private business, it's been absolutely incredible.
Okay. So maybe you can share with us what the importance of conserving the environment for Kenyans out there to just have a clue or make that initiative to do that also?
Well, number one, just to say there's so much awareness, there's so much opportunity in doing this. What we found is that arts, fashion, design kind of leads the way. So with the centre, it's going to become an educational arts centre at the same time as a physical working centre, recycling plastic. But it's this awareness and changing mindsets that's going to change the whole way we look at plastic. Plastic is part of our lives. We've just got to learn to manage it. Do you have plans of rolling out this initiative to other counties? What we really want is people to watch and see the progress of it. What we have seen is charity doesn't work like it used to. We've got to show people what we can do, and I have no doubt that other counties will follow, and we can just copy and paste the same formula. Okay, there's some statistics here. Kenya's CT6, that is Nairobi, Kisumu, and Thika, generate over 6,000 tons of waste daily. Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do. That's a lot. That's a lot. And when you look at Kenya, do you think we're finding it hard maybe in efforts of the recycling efforts we have in the country? What I've seen, I started this on the 4th of January this year, and what I've seen and come across in speaking to more and more people is that so many people want to and are already involved. So if we cash in on all of that, combine our efforts, the government is working from their side, private individuals working from this side, corporate and private business are also working at it. And I'm sure within a short time we will all come together and we'll find more solutions. Okay, and do you think we have maybe policies, solid policies, maybe when it comes to waste management in the country? Yes, I think there should be more solid policies. What we're doing with the Tetra Pak boarding that we're making, it was a Tetra Pak initiative about 8 to 10 years ago to deal with their own waste. We are producing boards that can be used extensively in the building industry, which means we're taking it off the land, out of the sea, off landfills, and we're making a product that can be consumed by the building industry in huge volume. Okay, so what should we look forward to on Saturday with the launch of this plant? Well, it's going to be a very exciting day. We've got dignitaries coming to bless the plant, the centre. We're going to have a clean-up through the village, down through to K24 Beach, where the Pingo Ridge Beach Bar is, K24 Marine Conservancy site is, and it's going to be a fiesta. It's a huge, to have a huge capacity. It's growing by the minute. I've just been on my social media and there are more and more people coming, so it's going to be a huge event. Well, thank you so much for coming to our studios. Thank you so much for having me. Well, that has been Geoffrey Hobbs, who is the MD for Indigo, and we'll be talking about the recycling business in the country and how we as a country can ensure that we manage our waste. Now, that is how we wrap up Inside Business for today. But before I do that, let's now take a look at how the money markets are performing at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and also how the shilling has been trading
against major other currencies like the sterling pound and the euro, as well as the Ugandan shilling, as well as also the Tanzanian shilling. And now we look at the US dollar against the Kenyan shilling, and we can see it has been trading at 103.69. that is buying, and selling at 103.689. Now sterling pound has also been trading against the shilling at 129.19, that is 13 rather, and selling at 129.40. The euro, on the other hand, has been trading at 114 shillings and 32 cents, while buying also at 114.57, and the rand also has been trading at 7 shillings and 5 cents, and selling at 7 shillings and 7 cents. The Tanzanian shilling, on the other hand, has been trading at 22.08. that is buying and selling at 22.21. Now with the last one, we look at the Ugandan shilling, and has been trading against the Kenyan shillings at 35.27 and selling at 35.44. And that is how your markets, or the markets, have been trading for the better part of the morning. That is how we wrap up Inside Business for today. The last word in business. My name is Caroline Jenga. Have a good afternoon.